Ladies and gentlemen, James Hemsarth.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for having me. It's been a great show so far. It's been great to see those of you who I've known for a while, and it's been wonderful getting to know others who I feel like will have long-lasting partnerships for years to come. For those of you who don't know me, my name is James Hemsarth. I am the Director of Provider Development at ServiceChannel. I've been with ServiceChannel for about 4 years now, holding a few roles pertaining to provider management, as well as within work order operations. Prior to my time there, I've spent over 13 years with a few facilities maintenance companies, as well as in their provider management departments, as well as a few retailers within their facilities department. So needless to say, I've seen it all from a relationship management standpoint. From making the 2 a.m. Saturday morning plumbing emergency calls to being the recipient of those same calls. From being the audience of business reviews from providers to putting together the business reviews for the clients. There are many perspectives within our industry driven by different needs. And what I want to focus on today are the areas of relationship management that truly focus on the drivers of long-term success. From my own experience, that means emphasizing on developing productive and sustainable partnerships. I'd like to start out by telling you of a situation I faced in my past and how by practicing on a daily basis the key ways to maintain a partnership help mitigate disaster. Everyone here knows Murphy's Law is prevalent. It will always be with us in the facilities world. What can go wrong will always go wrong. Something's going to go wrong. And for me, it did go wrong at 2 a.m. on a Sunday. There was an emergency that had stemmed from a retailer, above a retailer, that I was managing. They had a leak go through to the sales floor and damage drywall. So day before, I had a disaster recovery company come, pull the drywall, brought fans in, dried everything out, but they weren't set up to replace the said drywall. The hole was going to be replaced within a few days, but of course, as luck would have it, a spontaneous VP walk was scheduled later that Sunday morning. So I got the call, emergency, we need to get someone out there. I called my general repair tech, who just had a long day. Now this is in Vegas, so it's 11 p.m. his time. When he answered, he told me he was just about to get into bed. Glad he answered. So because of the relationship I have and had been able to maintain, he got right out there, used rock that he had on his truck, plastered, went back to his truck, slept in his truck while the plaster dried, so we can get back in there, sand, and then primer. The walls were white, so primer worked. It was good enough. It was amazing. The client was so appreciative. I had the client's understanding the whole way. We communicated effectively, and I kept them in the loop the entire time. The platform was used perfectly. Pictures were uploaded. Check-in, check-out data was used. On-time arrival. There was an NTE adjustment. Everything by the book. It was really seamless. It was really late, or early, but it was pretty seamless. So the 4 main best practices I want to discuss this morning are as follows. We have to listen and align on goals. We have to be transparent, both sides. We're in a world where outliers drive the narrative, and they really shouldn't. We need to use data. And lastly, business reviews are a very important tool, and we must use action items stemming from those business reviews. So listen and align on goals. If the client cannot communicate specific areas of concern up front, it will be next to impossible to live up to the expectations. If priorities shift, there needs to be an open line of communication. What specific materials are needed? What are your SLA adherence guidelines? What are the most important trades that you put the most value on? What are your location manager expectations? What are the store hours? You have to communicate, and we must remain in lockstep. We have to be transparent completely, all sides, from the client to the provider to the subcontractor in those instances. We need to work together to solve problems. Without transparency, we lose the sense of partnership. Whatever platform is used, use it. Put notes in, upload pictures, communicate SLA changes, update the store information, update the asset information, and all other information needs to be communicated. We need to be informative with any changes to a standard workflow, and those being informed of those changes need to be receptive to those changes. We have to work together. This is a big one for me. If I were to put one above the rest, this would be it. Outliers drive the narrative. You can be right 95% of the time, and typically you're put under a microscope for the 5% that went wrong. The good cannot be forgotten, in a stressful reactionary time, and we have those all the time. Murphy's Law, as I said, I'll say it a couple more times today, it's legit. The 5% should be expected. No, something's going to go wrong, but we can't let emotions dictate the partnership. The data will show the frequency of things that go wrong. And if the 5% that I've mentioned, and probably will mention again, if that starts to grow legs, there are ways to fix it, rather than rush to a rash decision, which will ultimately end the partnership. Is the provider not making it on time? Review the coverage area and capacity. Have a transparent conversation. Is your first-time completion percentage decreasing? Review the work order data to prepare your provider partners with the tools and materials to drive up first-time completion, or discuss aging assets for a fix versus buy conversation. Are the clients not approving proposals or invoices fast enough? That's going to put a strain on providers' business. Work together on what the blockers are. Bandwidth will constantly ebb and flow, so the solutions are often simple. The FM world, as we all know, moves extremely fast. Having effective business reviews are very important to slow it down, and they must be utilized. There are many items that might trigger these meetings. Is it work order volume? Are they KPI drops? Whatever they may be, this is where the expectations can be reset on whatever the historical data has been telling us. The high-level focus should be the performance based on KPIs, but the 5% previously mentioned can be discussed afterwards with that strict action plan and completion dates. Everyone should discuss pain points. What's going wrong? We need to know what's going wrong so we can fix it, but most important, discuss the wins. Remind us what a strong partnership results in, the good. Now, I started my story with my talk here with a story about Vegas. Why? Well, I wanted to showcase how these best practices were followed, along with a strong partnership that I was able to maintain and how it led to a great outcome. We had our goals aligned the entire time. The client had a sporadic VP walk, which shifted the goal from a fix, hey, like we can get this done in a few days, to you need to fix it in a few hours. We remained transparent the entire time. We stayed in communication on the work order to see it through, and a lot of phone calls too. We did not let emotions dictate the situation. It was very stressful. Everybody was tired, but a strong partnership helped guide it through. The client was extremely confident that I would solve the problem based off the partnership that I had and they knew I had, and I was extremely confident that my provider would solve the problem. We focused on the 95% here. We focused on the good. I used this example with my provider in the subsequent business reviews, as well as with the client to highlight, hey, this is what we're able to do if we work together. This helped minimize the narrative pertaining to the Murphy's Law 5% that could have overtaken in the future. I had bi-weekly calls with his provider to continue developing the relationship, and the net result was a success story for all involved. So I'll leave you with saying these best practices I outlined are very simple to start folding into your provider and partnership management. The hard part comes with sustaining them. I have, and it's yielded very positive results, and I hope you all will too. Thank you.